Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine who said the following. I'm in a relationship where the other person is a different race than me. My parents are immigrants, so I know they'll be disappointed I'm not ending up with someone from my ancestor's country. I'm finding it tough to let them know about my relationship. Do you have any advice on approaching telling them? So the first thing before I give advice on that, I just want to say, in my opinion, a rule of thumb for life is always to live life for yourself. Life in the grand scheme of things is pretty short. You know, anybody listening to this is probably not going to be alive in 100 years. And so you always want to minimize regret. And so before giving advice, I just want to say I think it's awesome that you're abiding by that rule and not letting external influences affect that. If you live for others or based on others' wants, you will not be happy because you're ignoring your desires. Additionally, regret may form later in life if you live based on other people's desires. You may say to yourself later in life, I wish I had lived life on my terms. I say, think of it this way. If you make a mistake in a choice that you made on your own, then you might get someone mad at yourself, but it's more going to be a learning lesson. If you make a mistake in choice based on other people's influences, you will have regrets on following their intuition and not yours, and you may even end up being mad at them as a result. For example, if your parents push you to marry, a certain type of partner, and then that relationship fails, you may gain a lot of resentment for following their advice over listening to your own thoughts. A family friend of mine was in this exact situation where he married someone who was a quote-unquote good fit based on the criteria his parents were looking for. And then several years later they got a divorce, and obviously that was tough in itself, but it also affected his relationship with his parents. His relationship with them now is a lot better as the years have gone by. But, because of the pressure they had put on him, they had a tense relationship for, a little bit. Again, I'm not saying that this will be the case for all people. Obviously one example is just one example. But I would say doing things out of obligation, duty, guilt is really never the best reason to do anything. Do things because you want to do them. So in terms of the conversation itself, I would say have empathy for your parents' stance. People who didn't grow up in America, it can be tough for them to wrap their head around interracial marriage because that's not something they grew up with in their home country. And that's also something that, especially if you grew up in a society that gossiped a lot, who you chose for marriage is a big thing. And, I think in that sense, your parents might be trying to have you choose someone based on lifestyle fit, i.e. same race, religion, culture, and obviously values and things like that are important, for sure. And so, I think they might think you'll lose your cultural values if you date this person. I think your job is to explain to them that you will continue to maintain your cultural values while dating this person, and that there have been millions of cases throughout the world showing people of different cultures can come together, get married, and have a successful life. The third thing I would say is it's going to be a tough conversation. To think otherwise mentally is probably not the best mindset to go into it. understand this won't be the most fun conversation. It might get tense and emotional and suck at times. Like we talked about, who a child marries is a big deal for parents. Ultimately though, tough conversations are a part of life. And so you got to do it. And I would say understand truly good parents want you to be happy. And that's not to say that it won't be tough for them to digest the news, or they won't be upset, or they won't wish it was someone of your own race in the beginning. But as time goes on, those feelings will diminish as they see what a great partner your partner is. And, they'll get over their beliefs, they'll forgive you, as time goes on, and things of that nature. And I especially think by the time, if that time comes, kids will really help that. You can't be mad at your grandson or your granddaughter in most cases. And, I guess even before kids, I think you still should be fine after some period of time. If it's not the case and you guys get into, an emotional argument and doesn't end well, and they're mad at you, I think realize that you're not doing anything wrong. Some parents might make their child feel like they're doing something wrong dating someone of a different race, but understand parents aren't always right. Parents are human beings. They can be wrong. Their viewpoint is not always right in life. We don't need to put them on this pedestal. Yes, they brought you into this world, but it doesn't mean you have to live a miserable life, or a life controlled by them, or a life built on guilt from them. We're human beings first. Our race comes in later. All you're doing is dating another human being. There's nothing wrong with that. And, I know that this can be tough, right? Because you love your parents and your parents love you. But you have to stand true to your principles in all aspects of life. That's a quality you'll always have to maintain. So you're going to have to be strong, and you have to live with that. As I said in Rule 1, you have to live life your way, and people aren't always going to understand your decisions, but if you want to live in a regret minimization framework, that's what it's going to take, is having a strong background through the ups and downs. I hope this helps. If you have any feedback, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And good luck to anybody having these conversations with their parents. Like I said, I know it'll be tough, but there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. And, if they truly love you, things will be as they are right now. Thanks, guys. Hope you're doing well.